I'll start on ArcGIS Dashboards, and I'll just take us through what ArcGIS Dashboard is, and then I'll quickly move into the demo. So ArcGIS Dashboard is a data visualization tool. It doesn't work. We have two applications that people get confused with. We have ArcGIS Dashboards and we have ArcGIS Insights. Now, Dashboard normally works with visualization. So it's a visualization tool that we have, allows you to incorporate your map, your legend, your charts, your indicator, and your feature or list details that you'd want to incorporate. And the main goal of ArcGIS Dashboard is to support mapping and infographics, so that you're not only looking at a map, but you're looking at support bar charts, bar graphs, pie charts, heat maps that are enabling you to understand what's going on that particular map. It's an executive access map application where you need to generate a report about maybe key performance indicators about your project. Then that's the app you go to. You need to send an interactive report with your manager. That's the app you go to. So that's the main goal of Operations Dashboard. It's to visualize your data and embed interactivity within your data set. Think of it as an interactive PDF. That's what it does. So this is where it falls in our applications. So we have an entire suite of field applications, but Dashboard falls in the very last step of field operations, where you're monitoring your data and understanding what's going on in the field. So by default, this is the step that you take with our apps when you want to do some field work. The first bit is generating the need, coordinating the work, navigating to your location, capturing the data, and then the dashboard now comes into play. How do you monitor data that's coming in from the field? So we use the dashboard for that particular purpose, to visualize and understand performance indicators in the field. So this is some of the advantages that we have. The first bit is it's able to integrate real-time data. So real-time data can be a sensor, a street sensor where you've installed. So if, for example, you're working in transportation, if Kenya urban roads have sensors, then the dashboard can match that data and be able to generate really good visualizations about what's going on in each street where you've put your sensors. It can also be able to really good for real-time data when you've sent people to the field and they're using their mobile phones. Then the dashboard is ideally what you would use to incorporate that when you as you're working with your field officers. Then it's also able to work with data that's stored either on ArcGIS Online, within your GIS servers, or within other websites that you've basically published your data to. So it can also, you can be able to download your shape files, put it on the dashboard, pull a URL directly from your GIS server and incorporate it as an additional data source to your dashboard. So that's the other advantage, the different types of data it can incorporate. From an Esri perspective, that's our geo event server. If you have that, then the dashboard can work with that, as you're seeing on that picture. If you have data that's on an online content management system or a GIS server, the dashboard can also pull that data. And if you have data that's on survey 1 to 3, you can integrate it with the dashboard, which is what the field apps picture is showing. And all this can now go to your dashboard. So I look at we have a couple of usage patterns or scenarios. One of it is being able to monitor and manage your operations and assets. And that comes in with IoT. IoT is Internet of Things, which has been very emergent in GIS. And now operations dashboard can be used for that, right? It can plug into real-time sensors and be able to generate for you visualizations that enable you to understand what's going on in your data. It's also really good for event management, especially due to the fact that it's integrated with the other field applications. So if you're working with Survey 1 to 3, you're working with Collector, Map Dashboard to enable you to understand how the field operation is going on or how the field work is running. The other thing is also really good for executive summaries, and that's where the reporting comes in, right? You're able to now just share a link with your boss, your manager, a director, and they're able to, and that link ideally opens the dashboard. They're able to see what's going on with your projects, your field work, or with any other events that you're carrying out as an organization. So I'll run us through that particular demo for operations dashboard, and then not have been addressed. And then, yeah, I think so. What you're looking at is Evelyn had initially shared a map from ArcGIS Pro to ArcGIS Online, and that's ideally how you transfer data from one bit of our platform, which is the desktop, to the online bit, which is the ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise. So what you're looking at is crime data for Nairobi and Kiambu, which is a bit, it's dummy data, but I decided to use this to just link to what Evelyn just presented. So you have details such as, so this is ArcGIS Online. Maybe let me just do a back. To go to ArcGIS Online, you type in arcgis.com, then press enter. And then since it's a software as a service, then all you just need to do is log in, right? It won't ask you for, I don't know, installations. It's a self-sufficient website. So then you log in. So that's what the interface looks like. You have the home, the gallery, the content, all this. So this is standard. Home, gallery, map, scene. This is standard across any organization that's running on our platform, on ArcGIS Online or ArcGIS Enterprise. The interface is one and the same. So now I'm on the map. So the map, since I'm hosting the map by my in my account, so that's hosted in the content. That's the purpose of the content pen. The content is where anything you share or publish to the portal goes to your content. It's your own private folder. And the map that I have is here, criminal activity, which is what I have opened. So I want us to use a dashboard to be able to understand the criminal activity across these two towns or these two counties, right? Which is in Kenya. So you have a couple of details about the crime, the criminal activity, the year, the region, the county, the sub-county, the exact location of that crime, then the coordinates of that crime and the type of incident. So I want us to use a dashboard to be able to understand this crime, understand which months had the highest, understand the numbers and the summaries of this criminal activity. So I'll first come here. I'll just make sure I've saved the map. Then I'll come to the share button and say, create a web application. A dashboard is a web application. Then I'll come here on dashboard. I'll give it a name. Let me just call it Kenya Criminal. The summary is really good for exposing your data, the tags, to just enable someone to understand what you're talking about. I'll have it as that. Map showing criminal activity across Nairobi and Kiambu. I want to assign a category, then I'll just save it in that particular folder. Then we'll say done. So let's now use a dashboard to present that information and see if we can see any interesting insights that the map couldn't give us. I think meanwhile, let me just open the map again so that we can compare the map and the dashboard. Okay, so that's our dashboard. It's empty. The only thing we have is a background. I like using the dark theme, but you're at liberty to change that. So if you feel like the dark base map like is a bit too much, you're always at liberty to come here on base map and put like a light background for your base map. So I'm currently using I think this is also something that's a bit new. We have new base maps. So currently I'm using the streets night, but you can also change it to a light mode if you don't like dark patterns. So then I'll come here. So this is what our dashboard looks like. I'll start with the first column. I mean, the last column, which is, I think, easier to read and understand. We think we'll start with that. The last column is the incident type that we have. So there's mugging, robbery, demonstration, direct fire. So let's look at the distribution of those crimes. Which one is the highest? So I'll come here on the dashboard. I'll add a pie chart or a serial chart. So normally when you pick a serial chart, then it means you're either at liberty to choose a line chart, a bar chart, or a column chart. So I normally prefer using bar charts if I have very many categories, because sometimes it confuses the users when you use a pie chart and you have like 10 categories. So the user starts battling with, is this slice bigger than the other one? Like they can't really tell when you have a lot of categories. That's why I've decided to go with a serial chart so that we can just use a bar chart. So our data source is that same file. Then when you're configuring, it's a guiding wizard, right? So on the right side, you have data, chart, category, value, guide, series, general action. So I normally recommend going step by step so that you don't feel like you're overwhelmed and you're getting lost. So the first bit is the data. So we've picked the data source that we have, but you can change. If your map has more than 2 layers, you can always change and pick another layer. But my map has only one data source. So that's why it's only one. If you want to filter, so you won't filter for now, but filter is also good if you maybe want to focus only on, let's say, incident type. You only want to focus on demonstration as an incident. then you can also do that. But for now, I won't focus on any crime. I want us to look at the entire incidents. So I'll come here and pick the incident type. And just like that, it breaks it down for you, right? You can already see mugging is like really huge in Nairobi and Kiambu. Assault is also really good. Abduction is the minimal. Then I won't split, but if you splitting means that you want to see this crime by maybe region. So it will break down and include the regions, right? So you have two regions, Nairobi Metropolitan, and the other one is the Central Metropolitan. It can break that down for you. You can actually keep it like that to just have variety. Then I'll go to the next bit, the color of my text. I think I'll go with white because I want to change it to black, my dashboard. The title is crime, type of crime. And then let me see, the placement of the labels. You can place it at the bottom. You notice you can't see the names because I've put, let me just change the dashboard to be black so that as I'm doing that, you can see the details. So let's use a dark theme dashboard. Then let's go back to finish what you are doing so that you can see the text as I'm typing. So so that's the assault demonstration. Then let's go to the next bit, category. That's okay. We don't need to change anything. The placement of the labels is also really interactive. Whether you want a rotated view, you notice now they're facing, is it northeast? If you want a wrapped text, but I normally prefer staggered. Then let's go to the value axis. Do you want, so this is, I think this is just the count of the criminal activity. So you notice as I'm doing, it's typing it in real time on this side of the column. Then I'll also change what do I need to change? I think the legend. Yeah, so the orange is the central region in Nairobi. The green is Nairobi Metropolitan. So these two regions we are looking at. So you notice it's breaking it down because we said you want to break the crime based on the region that it's focused on. So I'll have that as is. Then I think I'll put, let's put a description. So this is crime type by region so that when your manager is looking at it, they know what you're talking about. Crime type by region. We'll make it white because of the background. So I'll change that, make the text color white. I can make it italic. There's so many ways you can format it. So for now, I'll make it size 11 and then I'll make it italic. Yeah, I think that's visible. Crime type by region. Let's see what else we can add. I think that's good enough. Let's change the color of everything to white because the dashboard is a black themed dashboard. Then we can have a legend at the bottom. Yeah, or on the side, I think the side. So that's one bit we finished. We're looking at criminal activity, and you can tell that most criminal activity happens in the Nairobi metropolitan, right? That's the orange. Okay, let me change the colors so that I don't confuse people with the what is it called, with the colors. So let me use a different color from that. Let's see. Okay, that's worse. Let me manually edit one. Let's have the other one use something like that. Okay. So you can clearly see that Nairobi Metropolitan, which is in green, has a lot of criminal activity compared to the central region, right? And the highest criminal activity is mugging. You can't tell that by looking at the map, right? But the dashboard now gives you such insights. The next thing we can look at is, I think we had a year column. Did you have year? Yeah, let's see what we can add with the year. Let's use again a serial chart, and then we can use a line chart. So let's look at the day. Then let's convert that to a line chart. Can we see? Yeah. So we have here the different times. Then let's also change let's see the month. I don't know if you can use the month for that. August to, okay, the month is not, okay, let's break it down to day, hour, or month. Then we can split it up. Yeah, so we can have the 2 months and then we can see the peaks when we had that. Let's change it to a smooth line to make it more easily defined. Let's call this the time series. Let's go down here. Let's put the title. Good. Let me see what else we can tweak. Let's put this as white. And then again, put a description that this is the criminal pattern. Criminal activity pattern. I think I'm running out of time, but let me just wind up on this. Let's make it white as well. Uniformity. So sometimes those nitty-gritties is what makes the dashboard, so this was font 10. We used font 10 in the other one. Was it 10, 11? Good. I think now we are good to go. Yeah. And I'll just save that as well. Let me just check if I've added. Yeah, let's make this white. Let's make this white as well. Let's have the placement. Let's work with staggered. That's good. Let's change the color to white. And then let's place the legend on the side. Done. So you're looking at the 2 months, August. And so now placement, come here. There's a drag icon. Just drag it. When it becomes dark blue, dock it. So that's how you dock them. So you can see that you have August. Should probably change the colors again. Let's pick up a few different colors. Just realized. So let's make this maybe green. So now you can tell that we had a lot of criminal activity. March had the highest peak, March 9th, right? We had like 16 criminal activities. I'll save that. How many minutes do I have? Then the next thing I'll do, let me add one more component, interactivity, due to time. So I'll come here for interactivity. The first thing you do, add a header. So I'll add a header and say done. So that's our header. Then you just come here and say add a category selector. So that's how we put filters in the dashboard. We call them category selectors. And this only comes up after you add a header. So I've started with a header, then I've now come here to add a category selector. So now let's add the category, and we can enable people to filter by region. So we can say someone can be able to filter by region, and then that's done. Okay, so I think I'll finish it at that point and give Douglas. But you notice now I can filter. If I want to see criminal activity in Central, you notice the data is changing to green to show me Central. These were the assaults, and that's the only thing in the legend. The same thing if I want to see criminal activity in Nairobi Metropolitan, that's also changing. So that's how you put interactivity. That's for Central. Switch it back, that's for Nairobi. So that's how you put the filters. I think I'll now hand it over to Douglas. I think I've taken a lot of time, but thank you so much. I think I'll take questions meanwhile, but Douglas, you can pick up. Let me stop